distinguished sponsor.
Thank you.
And
Yes.
I'd like to thank Senator Tolentino for allowing me to ask the questions first. Ask questions first. Thank you. I know this is your baby and you fought hard for this, 11-203. How is it going, distinguished sponsor, in its implementation?
I think it is good for the farmers in the long run.
No, I mean,
You-
in its present state of implementation, how is it going?
Because we will be distributing machine, we will be distributing seeds, we will be distributing fertilizer, and of course the result of that will come during the harvest season if we will be better. But I think towards the long run, in 2 years, they will be better. They will produce their rice at a lesser cost. Kasi yung mechanization will bring down the cost of per kilo of palay by 340. Oo. And then yung hybrid seed, rather the inbred seed will bring up their harvest by 50%, and that will be additional profit from them. If we can be successful in doing that, I think we can compete with Vietnam.
So
Vietnam is producing rice at 6 pesos per, palay at 6 pesos per kilo. We are producing palay at 12. So with this strategy, I think we can bring down the cost of palay.
So even this early, are there lessons learned? Talking of advantages and disadvantages in the implementation, or say early implementation of RA 11203.
We are kind of delayed because we passed the budget late, and the Department of Finance gave 5 billion as money, parang advance money for RCEF when we were going to pass it. But the Department of Agriculture said it's not for RCEF. So they spend it on some other things. So na-delay lalo tayo. Dapat nung December binigay yon, dapat pagkapasa ng RCEF, nakagawa na tayo ng mga bagay na makakatulong sa farmer. But they said it's not for RCEF because it was given before the RCEF was passed, but the DBM said it's for RCEP. So they are arguing, and we cannot do anything. So the money came after May. So it's only November now. So but we are going to do it. Like I think we're distributing seeds already at the rate of 20 kilos per hectare to our RCEF beneficiaries, which are 947 towns in the Philippines. In fact, nadinig nyo na nadisgrasya na nga yung unang binigyan ng mga seeds, di ba nahulog sa ravine sa car. Oo. Kaya minamalas talaga tong RCEF. Binigyan ng seeds yung mga farmer nag-overload, nahulog sa bangin doon sa car. Kaya nakakaawa nga, nagpadala pa kami ng pera doon, pantulong doon sa mga 11 mang namatay. And ang na-hospital, ilan? 20 ang na-hospital.
So what you're saying is it's too early to tell or even talk about lessons learned.
Yes,
Wala
tingin ko
pa.
2 years. Kasi tuturuan mo ng mechanization, bibigyan mo ng makina, tuturuan mo ng mechanization, tapos tuturuan mo pang mag-maintain, hindi naman nila makukuha yon in 1 year. O tapos yung mga seeds, yun, bibigay lang yon, and then tuturuan din sila to produce their kind of seeds in the long run, yung inbred seed. Kasi yung inbred seed, pag tinanim mo, after a while, yung seeds na itatanim mo next planting season, manggagaling na rin doon.
Kasi it's better to talk about, potential weakness or weaknesses of the law and even mistakes this early. Kasi to learn from your own mistake is painful.
I think ang mahirap lang dito sa RCEF, syempre may birth pains yan di ba? Bago nila ma-improve yung cost nila, it will take time. But now, kasi inalaw ang pagpasok ng rice, di dumami ang rice, nagmura ang rice. Kaya natin binibigyan sila ng pera to soften the blow of the coming of imported rice.
Doon na po ako papunta kasi yung sanitary and phytosanitary import
Yeah.
clearance.
Oo.
Pasok ng pasok yung rice, minsan nasa dagat na,
Tsaka kukuha.
saka palang kukuha ng permit. So, this early, ito yung sinasabi ko po na dapat ngayon pa lang pag-usapan na natin kung paano natin i-correct.
I agree with you, Ms.
Kasi kung walang permit na
Senator.
na-issue
Oo.
at mag-a-apply, nasa dagat na yung importation, parang bakit pa tayo nagkaroon ng SPSIC?
Ito po ang
So how do we correct this?
yung pinag-usapan namin ni Secretary Dar na alam naman natin kung ano ang kailangan pumasok sa Pilipinas to cover for the difference between our rice consumption and our rice production. So alam mo na yon. So ikaw naman na nag-i-issue ng phytosanitary, ilimit mo na doon para walang mabigat na effect sa ating farmer.
Exactly, Mr. President.
And lahat naman ng countries nagpa-practice nito na kahit liberalize pero hinihigpitan yung phytosanitary para hindi masyadong tamaan yung ating mga farmers.
At saka hindi lang po yun kasi yung SPSIC, ito yung magpipigil ng pagkalat ng mga peste,
Yes.
yung mga disease-carrying organisms. Kung wala yon, wala tayong control. So instead of helping the farmers,
Yeah.
lalo pang mapapasama.
Katulad na
So how do
nangyari.
we remedy the situation as
Well,
it is right now? We're talking here of what 1,304 or 1,304 metric tons
Yes.
na nakadating na rito, and ilan yung na-issue na SPS import clearance 3,115. Ilan dito yung nakarating ng walang clearance? Yung tonnage out of the 1.3 million tons, may estimate ba kayo ilan yung pumasok dito na hindi man lang nakakuha ng clearance? Or nag-issue na kayo ng clearance para ministerial? Do you have some figures?
May figure ba kayo kung sino yung nakapasok na walang clearance?
Parang wala yatang nabigyan ng clearance prior to loading the support of origin.
I remember a rice importer called me. Kasi dadating na yung rice siya, wala siyang clearance. Sinasabi niya mag-intercede ako kay Secretary Dar. Sabi ko, it's a policy. Kasi alam ko, nahihigpitan yung phytosanitary para mas konting rice ang dumating para nang sa ganon, wag mahirapan yung ating mga farmers. Kaya I never interceded at sana itong ating mga sa Department of Agriculture ma-realize nila na yung ating rice tariffication hindi magiging mahirap para sa ating farmer kung hihigpitan nila yung phytosanitary permit. So, ang clearance for rice is 3,900.
115 ang na-issued.
3,010
3,010.
with a total volume of 2.6 million metric tons. And then arrival of imported rice is as of November 8, 1716. Oo.
Ang tanong ko po, ilan yung nakapasok nang wala namang na-issuing permit?
Siguro yung mga nakapasok na walang na-issue permit, smuggled yon.
Hindi, yung kasi ang problema,
Kasi pag kahit na hindi mo issuehan ng permit, kung kasabwat yung customs, makakapasok din yon. Smuggling.
hindi, ang problema kasi, okay, wala tayong magawa doon kasi smuggling yun eh. Hindi talaga kukuha ng permit yun kasi smuggled.
Parang sinasabi nila dito, marami silang in-issue pero hindi nadating pa. Oo. Dadating pa.
So wala
Tama ba
pang
to?
nakapasok dito aside
Wala.
from those smuggled rice, ano?
Oo.
Wala pang nakapasok ng walang permit.
Walang permit.
Lahat may permit na nakapasok. Okay.
Tapos,
can you walk us through kung ano yung procedure?
yeah, how do you give permit?
Yeah.
Mag-a-apply?
From the moment mag-apply yung importer, yung legitimate importer, hanggang sa maaprubahan?
Okay. For initial registration and renewal of importers, notarize application form with ID pictures, mayor's permit or business permit, proof of business establishment. For corporation, security and exchange registration, articles of incorporation and BAULO. For cooperative, Cooperative Development Authority registration, articles of cooperative. For single proprietorship, DTI registration. And for PESA Special Economic Zone, PESA registration. Tapos may mga proof of ownership, physical sketch, 5R pictures, and updated and current registration with the Bureau of Customs, special power of attorney, annual income, tax return with audited financial statement.
And everything is done online, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yung once the application is filed, understand sa batas sinasabi na within 7 days kailangan maaprubahan, approve or disapprove, but it should be acted upon within 7 days, and if it exceeds the 7-day period, it is deemed approved, di ba? Ang question is,
If compliant.
kaya nga, compliant. I mean,
Oo.
kung talagang kompleto yung mga requirements, nag-apply sila, mandated ang DA na mag-issue. Otherwise, it is deemed issued.
No, it's not deemed
Nandito
issued.
eh.
Saan yon? Sa law.
Basta complete yung requirements, basta kompleto, pag hindi inaksyonan, deemed approved. Question.
But
No,
they are
we're talking here of complete, kompleto yung documentary
complete.
requirements.
Kinukontian nyo, papayagan nyo rin yun. They're trying to delay na nga. Para
No.
ma-limit yung pagpasok.
Ang start naman ng count ng 7 days, once na
Ma-complete.
i-apply na sa inyo, with
Ma-complete.
complete documentary
They always
requirements.
say
diba?
it's under process. This time, hindi natin pinagagaang yung ease of doing business.
I asked that question because parang oversight na rin doon sa batas. Sufficient ba yung 7 days to act on a complete application?
Pero kung gusto nyo i-discourage, ano ginagawa nyo? You always say under process.
And a related question is, nakadelegate ba ito sa mga regional directors, yung pag-issue
Hindi,
ng
ang pag-issue
SPSIC?
delegate ba sa regional or
Delegated?
Bureau of Plant
Okay.
Industry Central?
BPI, yeah. But it is subject to parang oversight ng DA Secretary. So ang question ko is, sufficient ba yung 7 days? Kasi kung di sufficient, let's do something about it.
If all papers daw are complete, it's sufficient. But it's hard to have a complete paper. You can
No,
always
we're talking here,
question.
ang assumption po is kompleto yung
Yeah.
requirements. Otherwise, ibabalik lang nila yung application kasi hindi kompleto.
Okay. They will validate the source where they are importing.
Yes. Kasi
Para
yung section
to make
5,
sure that the imports are pest-free.
ito po yung section 5 issuance of sanitary and
Phytosanitary.
phytosanitary import clearance for rice
Yun
for
ang
the sole
mahirap.
purpose of
You
ensuring
can
food
always-
safety. Nakalagay dito, automatic approval of the SPSIC applied for within 7 days after submission
Pero
of the complete requirements. Automatic
Pa-
approval.
parang ang mahirap na i-approve would be the phytosanitary kasi you can always say na hindi safe yung yung residue level daw, technical to so you can always invoke na meron depekto yung pinag-iimportan.
Pero bakit automatic approval?
Hindi, wala daw automatic approval.
Nakalagay
Kasi-
po rito
Kasi
Failure on the
ilalagay
part-
mo doon, may phytosanitary. Kung mahirap kunin yung phytosanitary, di hindi kumpleto ang application.
Pero nakalagay po rito, failure on the part of the BPI to release the SPSIC without informing the rice importer of any error, deficiency, omission, or additional documentary requirement shall mean automatic approval.
Wala naman hong ganyan sa gobyerno eh.
Pero andito ho sa batas.
We are all dealing with government. There is no such thing as that. You don't fight with City Hall. Kung ayaw kang bigyan, magtiis ka. So,
But they can always go to court.
they can go to court. They go to court.
Kasi-
Ang bagal din ng court.
My point here, Mr. President, is if there's something, and this is, it's quite impossible or difficult to implement, we
I
might
think-
as well amend this.
We don't want nga for it to be easy. Kasi pinoprotektahan nga natin yung local farmers natin.
Pero automatic approval.
Kasi
lang
ang sabi
wala.
po ng cartel, since hindi na sila makokontrol yung supply ng rice, mag-i-import na lang sila na mag-i-import to the detriment of our local farmers. Parang ganun na strategy nila eh. Hindi sila bibili daw sa local, nananakot sila eh. Mag-i-import na lang sila na mag-i-import. So kung ikaw ang gusto mong tulungan ng local farmer, di pahirapin mo yung pag-import. Diba? Sabi mo hindi okay
No.
ang phytosanitary.
Can you help me out, Mr. President? Yung sa interpretation nitong automatic approval, parang wala nang choice yung DA, yung BPI na mag-disapprove eh. Nakalagay basta without informing the rice
Pwede daw
import.
nilang pahirapan yung phytosanitary. Oo. Kasi
Pero bakit-
discretion nila yun eh.
Bakit merong provision na automatic approval?
Kung na-comply, kung walang phytosanitary, hindi na-comply. Kasi yung phytosanitary, they have to find out the source, and if they think the source is okay, na important, gano'n. Marami yan eh. Oo. And they are informed of their deficiencies, so hindi naman sila hindi automatic to. So hindi naman sila maididemanda.
At least pagka in-inform nila yung importer, deficient po yung inyong
Oo.
So yun ang way of saying disapprove kayo. Ba't hindi pa natin lagay doon?
Alam mo, talagang ang mundo, kailangan magwa-wise ka din kung pinahihirapan ka. Pinahihirapan, munti mo naman, i-import ng 3 million. Ang short lang, 1.2 million. Medyo, naman yun. Super off. Kung lumagpas lang mga 2 million, baka pwede pa yun. But 3 million is so, gross.
Ako lang, ang concern ko lang yung bakit may word dito na automatic approval eh. Sana sinabi nilang unless disapprove.
Sino ba nagawa noon?
Tayo po, Mr. Chairman. Tayo po, sponsor nito.
Hindi, yung yung
Ito eh.
automatic approval, nasa
Section
loob ba
5.
yun?
Nasa law po ito, nasa batas.
Kasi daw part of RA 11032 or that is of doing business that you have to put 7 days. Yun na nga ang ating learning sa rice tarification. Unang-una, dapat hindi automatic approval.
Tama. Kaya nga yun ang unang
Unang learning.
yun ang kaya nga po yun ang premise ng tanong ko, yung lessons learned. Kasi nakita ko
Lessons
parang may
learned,
mali, parang may
oo.
kahinaan.
Kasi that phytosanitary is our salvation
So are you
for
saying
our
that-
local farmers.
Are you saying that this was an amendment introduced by Senator Subiri? Which you adopted?
But Senator Subiri is one of the biggest rice producer na province in the country, di ba? They produce rice more than what they need. Kasama po si Senator Marcos.
Baka pwede na lang danin. I'm not a lawyer. Maybe si Senator Tolentino can help us.
Yes.
No. Baka pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng revised rules and regulations para ma-clarify ito.
Yeah.
Kasi bakit automatic approval?
Oo.
Wala nang disapproval eh.
Oo. Hindi po, wag na kayo mag-approve. So Sobra na.
Baka pwedeng sa IRR, i-revise na lang siguro
okay.
para ma-clarify.
Yes.
Kasi medyo mahirap interpret eh.
Oh, ano naman natin yan eh, ugali natin na kahit na gano'n na nakalagay sa batas, pinapalitan ng IRR.
With the permission of the sponsor and the interpolator, my understanding of this provision is, pag kompleto yung sinabit, pwede mong i-approve.
Oh,
Pag incomplete, pwede mong i-disapprove. Ganun lang naman kasimple yan eh.
oh.
Ang pagkaintindi ko dito. If
Hindi, yun
failure on the part of the BPI to release the SPSIC without informing the rice importer of any error, deficiency, omission, or additional document requirement, pag hindi mo sinabihan, uy, kulang yung binigay mo, pwede mong i-hold. Pag hindi kompleto, sinabit sa'yo.
Reject.
Pero kung incomplete, pwede mo sabihin, hindi pwede yan.
But as
Pag
the,
kompleto, you have to approve it. Yun ang sinasabi.
Mr. President, as Section 5 is worded,
Yes.
hindi ka pwedeng mag-disapprove eh. You only have to inform the importer na may deficiency.
Now, pag may deficiency, don't approve anything. Yan ang pagkaintindi ko dyan.
Pero hindi mo pwedeng disapprove, automatic approval eh.
And
Pag hindi,
I think this should be clarified in a revised IRR.
ayusin na lang.
Para na lang mas
Ayusin
malinaw.
na lang daw po
Sige.
ang IRR.
Mas magandang ganun na lang daanin kaysa mag-amend pa tayo ng Section 5.
Yes.
Total, sabi nyo naman, maski wala sa batas, ilalagay sa IRR.
Hindi ba? Para makalusot sila.
So when will you
Kaya
start?
ako po, pag gumagawa ng batas, very specific. Kasi napipansin ko, iba yung ano ng batas, iba yung intention ng batas, iniiba sa IRR. Diba?
As of this date, ilan na yung excess tariff? Magkano na? Excess of, yung in excess of
11.5 daw. Ay, 1.5 billion.
palang,
Beyond 10.
in excess of 10? Akala ko 15 billion na.
Projected pala yon, hindi yun ang ano. Mali ang dyaryo.
Okay. So there's only
1.5
billion. So 11.5 pa lang ang total.
As of, anong date yon? November 8 yata. November 8.
Okay.
November 8. But anyway, the DOF has agreed to give from their budget, di ba, na earnings nila, 6 billion for cash assistance program.
Now,
Tapos yung ano yata, ang nagbigay nun, Land Bank, no? Yung Sure Aid. ACPC, yung Sure Aid na 2.5 billion. Talagang nagbibigay naman ng marami para makatulong.
yeah. We want to be educated on this, ano? Kasi tayo mag-i-earmark eh. Pagka merong excess, di ba Congress yung mag-i-earmark para sa following years GAA?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
As a matter of policy, ano yung mga programa na gusto niyo i-prioritize na paggagamitan ng excess tariff? Sa inyo naman galing. Kasi pag sa amin, baka sabihin pork.
Crop diversification program daw at crop insurance.
Crop diversification program and wala
Crop
dito sa listahan ng ano eh. Section 13.
Wala eh.
Rice funds shall be allocated and disbursed to rice-producing areas as follows. A, rice farm machineries and equipment. Ito na naman tayo, 50%. Rice seed development, propagation, and promotion, 30%. Expanded rice credit assistance, 10%. Rice extension services, 10%. Parang wala doon sa nabanggit ni Secretary yung...
Merong provision po in excess of 10 billion. That's for the 10 billion. So may provision
the rice
po.
fund,
Oo,
yung sa excess,
yung excess.
yun ang priority nyo is...
Yun ang
So
gusto
we can take
nila,
note.
but there is a provision there. Ano yung pwede? Expanded crop insurance, and
sige.
then crop diversification, and titling
So ang gusto ninyo, ang
Just for-
priority yung
and
diversification.
With the permission of
farmer
the-
financial assistance.
So if we will earmark the 1.5 or whatever amount, it
Yes.
will be at the end of this year,
Yes,
yung crop diversification ang gusto nyong pondohan.
and crop insurance.
Mabuti na rin para ready kami because
Yeah.
Congress will earmark eh. Yun ang nasa batas.
Yeah.
So,
Pwede nang ilagay dun sa budget.
How much would you require for crop diversification?
1.5 lang eh.
Hindi, madadagdagan pa naman yan
Okay.
siguro.
2 billion daw.
2B. Bahala na si Senator Cynthia doon. We will just support her. And then next priority after crop diversification,
Crop insurance.
crop insurance. Bahala na kayo, ma'am, doon.
Tingnan natin. Paano
O,
kaya?
ayaw pa mag-commit yung sponsor.
No, I will.
That's all.
Kasi yung ating mga kaibigan sa harap gusto nila, ano ba yon? Cash assistance.
Sa farmers.
Mahilig sila sa cash
Medyo
assistance.
mahirap siguro yun. Baka itaya sa weteng.
Yun na nga eh. Ako, I agree with you. Pero si Senator Recto, gusto niya yun eh. Nag-uusap na kami kung saan namin
Mr. President,
dadalhin.
Senator Recto, strike
just a very brief intervention manifestation. Yung binanggit na in excess, amendment natin yun doon sa batas.
Yes.
Yung tatlo, yung crop insurance, crop diversification,
Titling.
titling,
And
at yung tulong sa magsasaka, yung
cash
financial
assistance. Di ba?
Just for the record, Mr. President.
Ang concern lang, Mr. President, time is of the essence.
Yes.
Kasi sa ngayon, hirap yung mga farmers because wala silang competitiveness. Baka maubusan tayo ng oras, maubos yung bukirin. Dahil yung tulong dumating, huli na. Di ba? Hindi naman pwede sabing huli man daw at magaling, baka patay na yung kabayo.
Kasi talaga naman nagmamadali tayo doon sa cash assistance except nag-ruling ang Supreme Court, tapos hindi sinertify ng President, na-delay tayo ng na-delay, di ba? But we're trying to pass it before we went on break last time, di ba? We're
Yes.
trying. So medyo minamalas tayo. And now, nag-ruling pa ang Supreme Court that we have to do a bit on that.
At saka we should learn from the lesson of the past na yung mga equipment na na-distribute puro defective.
Ay, hindi na
And
po.
parang just to prevent a repetition of that anomaly, maybe we should show these people that we or the secretary really means business by going after them. Not only, sabi ko nga kanina, not just stop at auditing them,
Yeah.
but charges should be filed against those responsible. Kasi this is plain and simple criminal act. Ano? Ako, I don't want to believe na hindi sinasadya yun. Kung merong isa lang or dalawa, pwedeng hindi sinasadya. Pero kung commonplace, lahat na halos na nabigyan, sira yung equipment, mukhang may kumita ng malaki. So,
I hope the Secretary will go around the Philippines, not only in Region 8, and check what they have given
He-
and how
he
it
was-
is working. Oo.
he was the secretary during the time of,
Yeah.
when yung administration na nandun din naman ako, and I know personally, na iba yung kalibre ni Secretary Dar. Hindi dahil sa nandito siya, pero
Hopefully.
hopefully.
Hindi po, kasi ang Department of Agriculture, hindi lang naman siya. Pwedeng ang intention niya maganda, tapos yung nasa baba, hindi. So, kailangan
Well,
talaga.
that's a function of leadership,
Oh,
Mr.
yeah.
President. No, doon lalabas yung leadership
kasi
ng tao.
yung mga nasa baba, medyo sanay na sila ng ganon. Baka without his permission, gawin pa rin uli.
With our support, siguro, he can
Yes.
do his job properly.
Yes.
So, that would be all. We'll just await the result of their investigation,
Yes.
because if they don't act, I think Congress or at least the Senate should act to expose all these people.
Yeah.
Alam nyo, nagpapagod tayo rito, deliberating on the budget, and then makakarinig tayo ng bilyong piso na dinadaya. Medyo very frustrating, sabi nga ni Senate President.
I promise you that we will do an investigation kung ano nangyari doon, and in the future, lalong-lalo na 50% of the RCEP is for mechanization. I promise you na mag-iimbestiga tayo pag
I will
may
join you,
nakuha
Mr.
tayo.
President.
Oo.
Thank you very much, and that's all for this representation.